Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. So, as the title suggests, Willow Tate's mental breakdown. That's right, people. We are in the beginning of the stages that generally tends to happen when people have mental breakdowns. This is definitely a mental breakdown. And we got a lot to talk about, people. Let's get in the roll call, get this started. Krista is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Amy H is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Blackmon, aka Mr. GQ, is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Max is in the chat. How you doing tonight? B Cobb is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Ronnie Ron is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Queen of the South is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Hope all is well. Um, Valerie is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Jared says in the chat. How you doing tonight? Monique is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tracy Steve's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Avetta's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Um, I thought they actually both presented very strong cases, Ron. They both presented very strong cases. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Queen. Thank you for asking. One of the things I did notice is that, like, when it comes to us the law, I'm doing good, Black Man. Thank you for asking. Well, yeah, she was drunk, but it just made me wonder. There was a couple of things that was going on, and we're going to talk about that scene soon. Um, the thing is that Belle doesn't really have a case. She does not have a case in the sense of she has no proof, she has no evidence. Listen, she has no evidence, she has no eyewitnesses, she doesn't have anything except for circumstantial evidence. One second, while let me answer one of your questions first. Um, and what I don't like is that the justice system can still one of the things that I don't like is that the justice system can still sit there and punish you even without any sort of proof. Roman was there also. I'm going to answer one of your questions at a time, Brian. Roman was also there. Roman was there. Gabby was there, and they both have sat there and said more than one occasion that they want to kill him. And hell, the other person that is actually there is Chanel, but that's not to sit there and say that she did it either. And I think that's just the part that just kind of bugs the shit out of me. So that's why I would sit there and say that question, Ron. Um, Monique says having a feeling Drew is going to force Willow to marry him because he knows. It's funny, Monique. I've seen two other people say that comment. Where else my music at? I've seen two other people say that comment too. Delmex says, unfortunately, a lot of times is guilty until proven innocent instead of being the other way around. Yes. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, honestly, tell you the truth, what it really comes down to is that, like, you can win or lose not based off of the evidence or lack of evidence, but if who can convince who can convince the judge the most, who can convince the jury the most. And I'm like, what? Like, there's something about that that just fucking blows me. You can literally have no evidence against you and still get thrown in jail. You go to a place like Bangkok and you have an ounce of marry Jane, and they can practically give you the death penalty. But then I look at the laws out here, and I'm like, they're not that entirely better. They're not that entirely better. Yeah. Okay, and that was my whole thing. When I saw Brit, I was kind of just like, I'm not gonna lie, her scenes was so not necessary in today's episode. It really was not. Domek says that's why nowadays you see people being tried in the court of public opinion. Yes. Yep. Yeah. And it's fucked. Like it's literally fucked. I don't know. I think, as I get older I start to sit there and think about more things like that. Ron says, what's your thoughts on Kate and Philip scene? And what's good, Amber? What's your thoughts on Wynar was decent to that? Wynar was actually decent to that. I'm not gonna lie, Mika. Wynar has actually been bringing it. Like even on an episode where they didn't have that much going on, like I mean that scene when you watch, I don't want to spoil it for you, but like there's some good scenes, particularly with Nate. I'll sit there and say that. And Rod said, "What's your thought on Kate and Philip's scenes, and how did he figure out?" Because he read the book, he read the erotic novel, and he realized that the scenes in the book, or a particular scene in the book, was something that he did with Stephanie. So he put two and two together. But what I thought of the scenes, I mean, they weren't super great. It just it wasn't terrible. It was middle of the road. It was okay. Yeah, it was middle of the road. But that's how you figured it out. Dave says, "Hey Albert, hope you're doing well, my friend. What I'm trying to understand is what does Sitwell and Britt have to do with Professor Dalton?" Yeah, but yeah, it's good to see you again, Dave. It seemed like it's been a hot minute, but yeah, Mikab, it was decent today. Kyle kind of annoyed me today. Um, Billy is still annoying me. Diane. I don't want to spoil it. This is why I kind of figure sometimes it's like maybe I should at some point do a whole week when I'm doing Young and Restless reviews. Because I don't want to spoil it for Mikab. I want Mikab to watch it, but I feel like I'm gonna spoil some stuff for you, man. Um, Monique says not about the sausage I hear about the doorbell challenge. Yes, I know one person got unalived by that. I mean, he literally kicked in the door, and then he got hellbound. He got called hellbound. But I know that this courtroom stuff is going to get heavy. It's going to be heavy as I'm telling you that right now. Things are going to get real, real, real personal. Real personal. What's good? What's good, Kaiwan? Ryan says, cry some more, Albert. Luna is alive. I couldn't believe you fell for this fake dab. Oh, don't worry, Ron. I'll make sure that I'll cry The minute that I get off a stream, and yeah, that did happen. That did happen, right? And the thing is, people was sitting there saying that for a hot minute. So I don't know what channel y'all got it on. Um, what soap opera spoilers y'all got it from, but it seemed like at least a good four people came in here and was just like, oh, um, what's the name? Lee is going to fake her death. And then when she was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna, what's good, Sean? I'm just gonna take some time off. I'm gonna read a book and just kind of relax. But you know what? I have something to do first. And then the minute that she got home and she was getting like supplies, I was like, mother. And that's the sad part is that it's what's good. It is so goddamn predictable. It is so damn predictable. Everybody in this chat pretty much predicted that shit. Monique said Tracy and Cody, the friendship I didn't know I needed. They are comedy duo. Cody was annoying me. And it's I like the this is a whole other thing, right? So one of the things that I like on B&B is that they're doing what do you used to call those shows those scenes like they're shooting on location. Oh, okay. I know how to answer one of your questions, Sean. They're shooting on location, so I'm loving that part, right? Something different. You know what I'm saying? Like a different look, a different aesthetic. I love that. But it seems like they don't know what to do with some of the other characters. Like, why is Taylor and Donna hanging out? They really couldn't find anything for them to do. Like, that Donna's gonna sit there and ride for Brooke or whatever, right? So there's times where she's like, well, at the end of the day, you know, Brooke is only gonna is she only one man is gonna sit there and make Brooke happy. And Taylor looks at her and she's like, well, I'm sorry. And I'm like, you're not sorry because you wouldn't have said that if you were sorry. And it's like, you got Taylor listening to this saying, well, Nick is going to be, um, Nick is going to be there. Nick is going to sweep her away. And Donna's like, well, I don't know. I mean, Ridge has been like her destiny. And I'm like, this is the type of conversations y'all two normally have. Like, I shit, like you seem like you pissed off by her. You got to spend a whole afternoon with her. Now, Sean says, is Liz a better mother to Willow than Nina? No, but I think that she's just looking out for her. I don't sit there and say a better mother. She's just more of a friend, not helping her out. Yeah, okay, Ron. Well, that's your choice. Sean said there are some useless characters she just don't need. They show too many characters on screen. I think that's always been my biggest thing because they can find things for some of these characters to do, but when you have a Brit scene that's just there for fanfare, it's like it just comes across as once again bloated as. Now, as I'm so glad Joey showed Doug with. Okay, I'm so glad Joey showed Doug what time it is. It's what time it was. I was. I deserve respect. LOL. You about to be taken out by Joe. Yo, let me tell you something. Doug done lost his goddamn mind. Doug done finally lost his mind. Broski, you do realize that this man like will have your knee. Okay, him getting off easy would be some broken kneecaps. You know, you know his reputation. Oh, you knew his reputation when you were sitting there, going to the casino from time to time. Like what are you doing? I don't understand that. Queen Jenna said, "Busy day for me. Well, I hope it was very productive. I know you out there, killing it in the real estate game. Real estate game." Cassie says, "Hey, Albert, yesterday I meant to say that Drew is probably asking Martin to help him find out who told Willow the truth about him and Nina." And that wasn't, yeah. But no, it was more about like, I need you to come with me. Is this way I can have an excuse to get in the Quartermain's place? Because when he got there, he was like, "Oh, wow, I want to sit there and talk about Measure C." That, I'm not gonna lie, that whole scene was so stupid. See, the thing is, I know that was supposed to be comedy, their version of comedy. But Tracy, I mean, how old are you to be sitting there asking? How old are you to be sitting there asking? I mean, for you to be sitting there going back and forth with him, and you know damn well Willow wasn't there. Like that whole scene just seemed like it was just so unnecessary. And then even with Liesel, and I'm gonna get to Liesel in 1 second. Ron says, "What's your take on Jada and Stephanie's scenes?" It reminded me when Jada was a Karen. Um, and other than that, I found it to be kind of stupid. Like Stephanie was just annoying. She even wanted to sit there and see who was in the box and who was it by, and then she realized, oh, it's not from my ex. It was something that I ordered. I'm like, girl really sit there and think like she is hella full of herself. Oh, it's just another ex. I'm not even gonna sit there and see what it is. I'm like, what ex was it? Was it Philip? Like what's going on? And all of that, and she throws it out. Then she comes back and she realized she threw an item that she ordered. Uh, Dave, it was Scotty Baldwin. Scott Baldwin. Yeah, Scott Baldwin. Sean says, Kane and General City, it would be interesting if you ran into Mariah. Wow, what's their history? I don't I haven't watched Young and the Restless that long, so I don't know their history or anything like that. But yeah, other than that, Ron, it was basic. Ed says, Leslie gets on my nerves, and I'll say it again, this woman needs to get a job than keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like she came in, she gave her a check, and she's looking, and like she's looking at all this online purchases and how much this stuff costs, and she's like, "Wait, I thought this was sort of like money and groceries and food." And she's like, "Yeah, it is." I'm like, you know what? Honestly, tell you the truth, let that chick let that chick get evicted. Yeah, of course, Dave, and also Sean. Also, shout out to the other Sean for that. Yeah, exactly. Monique said Drew had the nerve to say if Nina hadn't run her mouth, we would be married. Yeah, exactly. It's such a scumbag thing to sit there and say because it shows you exactly how far he's fallen, right? It's like if Nina didn't decide to tell the truth, if Nina didn't sit there and expose my lie, then I'll be boinking her right about now. That's literally what he sat there and said. Spiker says, "I'll be your live. I thought you wasn't going to be on today. I'm glad I caught you though." Yeah, it's good to see you, Spider. I know you're probably going to be bouncing around between me and Kyrie's, but Ed, before you got in here, I said something about that, right? Ed, when it really comes down to it, is that Belle doesn't have a case. Like, she has a case, but she doesn't have a case. She doesn't have any physical evidence. She has no eyewitnesses. Okay. And when it comes towards motive, Belle is like, oh, well, Johnny has motive. So does Roman. Roman also has motive. And what it really comes down to that's really messed up is that, like, out here, you can get convicted not necessarily based off if you're guilty by any evidence, but based on which lawyer can sit there and give the most convincing argument. Now, Sean says, hey, Albert, I like Nancy Ron. The, the lips, but I don't. I don't get it. Ron says, if Rome didn't want to answer the question, he would have been held in contempt. That is correct. Spike said, I disagree with you with the bread scenes. Of course you do. Was needed today, and it looks like I'm right. She has Huntington's, I think, the needle herself with the medication. Okay, but why was it needed though? I mean, fan fiction. I mean, fan service, yes, but what importance? Okay, I'm gonna read your comment in 1 second. Jay Blue said, Obrick line say in regards to Drew was delightful. Drew's eyes was popping out of his goddamn head. That's why I think it was important to see Brit today. We see what she's been up to. What has she been up to? She popped a needle in the stomach. I mean, listen. Spider. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. You saying that you trying to sit there and try to find a justification and a reason why Brit scene was necessary is like me sitting there saying every day Haley scenes are necessary. They're not necessary. She just looks good and I want to sit there and see her. Okay. I mean, yeah, there may be some times that she's might be necessary, but for the most part, there's times where she's not necessary and I don't care. I want to see her anyway because she looks good. So let's not try to make it seem like, yeah, we want to sit there and see what she was up to. What was she up to? What did she do? She popped a needle in her stomach. She was sitting there getting all the latest um, juice what was going down on poor Charles, and she got a massage. Did you catch Britt's actions? She looked like she hates life. And that's something that we needed to see. Like, I'm, bro, listen, okay. I, I, we just going to shortcut this. I don't know if we actually got what I said before you wrote that, but listen, bro, I'm not even going to sit there and try to always find necessary reasons why I think Haley's on the show or in a particular episode. Now, Autumn says Willow was looking nuts. I can believe Willow showed up to Carly's looking completely unhinged, telling Michael, we got to get back together. The four of us, we can be a family again. Yo, that was nuts. I sat there was like, Broski is not there trying to go backwards. Broski is not sitting there trying to go backwards. Like, what the hell are you talking about, girl? Just saying. Come on, Spider. Let's not sit there and sugarcoat and play shenanigans. What's good, Island? As says Drew keeps saying I'm all Willow has. It's like look in the mirror and leave her alone. It's what Tracy said. Tracy was like, well, whose fault is that? Right? And to be fair, it's not just It's not just Drew. Spider Craig says, Cat, I feel bad for her. I know people hate on her, but I feel bad. You can tell she regrets losing her card to Thomas. Well, yes, yes, we do. Um, but see, here's the thing, though, Spider. It's funny when you sit there and say that people hate on Cat. I don't think that people hate on Cat. I think that Cat comes across as um spoiled, self-centered. She comes across as though she's better than other people, and she tends to bully people and look down upon certain people because she has money and status. So it's not so much that people hate on her; they just don't like her attitude and her energy. And to be honest, I like her a little bit. Okay, she got that boss chick energy. Okay, so I mean, I ain't fully mad at her for that. But there's a reason why people don't like her, not necessarily hate her. And to be fair, Thomas is a scumbag. Spider Thomas is an actual effing scumbag. Like Jess said, the dude is bad in bed. He has a bland personality. Now he's they're talking about he's in love with her. I'm like, bro. And his bland personality also comes from the fact, what's good, Krista? His bland personality also comes from the fact that the dude can't really act. Yeah, Spider. But Andre is kind of a scumbag in a sense, you know. So yeah, he needs to tell her because when she finds out, Dan's going to flip the f out. And Ron says, "Do you think Lee should trust Sheila with her secrets?" Hell no, 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 Ron. No, you should not trust Sheila with anything. I wouldn't trust Sheila with a butter knife, let alone trust her with what you call it. Trust Sheila. You think I wouldn't trust that chick to sit there and draw me a goddamn bath. Um, right, you trolling me with that question? Well, the thing is, Sean, it's not so much that she wants Ava and Cody together. She wants her revenge, and she doesn't really care how it hurts her sister. J. Blue says Willow is obviously not thinking clearly, but Elizabeth suggesting that returning the next day, annoying. The look she gave Rick helping Willow, she needs to stop toying with Rick's feelings. That I will agree on. I think what it came down to is like she said that to try to calm her down. You know what I'm saying? Like she said that to sit there and try to calm her down. Ed says so. Thomas told Eva he's staying with Kat and let her know they had blank, but Kat's not feeling it and he is all in now. I don't know. I felt like yeah. Well, I mean, he's all in. The fact that he said he loved her. Yeah. I just Eva Smith there. Also, I'm like I'm a little surprised that she's crying that hard. You know, like she felt that Tomas was going to be like the love of her life. And she's crying, sitting up in a diner and everything like that. I was like, girl, you know damn well that there was so many times that, yeah, he seemed like he was feeling you, but he was still with Kat. You acting like, oh, well, this boy, I was really sitting there thinking, I was like, girl, you, honestly, tell you the truth, you seem like you dating an F boy. You seem like are you attracted to F boys? I think that's another, I was like, Eva has terrible taste in men. Eva have absolutely terrible taste in men. The fact that she was sitting up there in the diner, like, he really broke her heart. Like they've been going out for like 6 months or whatever. Like, girl, stop. Oh, now Cassie says, does anyone know when YNR and Beyond the Gates is crossing over? It's gonna have. That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know the actual date, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited for it. Um, Devon Hamilton is gonna sit there and be in Fairmont Crest, and what the hell is going on? So that's going to be hella interesting. But Jay Blue said, oh, Ed says, I'm tired of Ashley talking down, broski, broski. I said the same shit. Focus on your day with Andre and keep that man's name out of your mouth. You know what also annoys me? One second, Ron. You know what also annoys me about that? First of all, she is constantly sitting there snapping at Shanice every time Shanice is with Derek. There's one point where she says, I miss him and I miss, like being in bed and not feeling his side of the bed anymore. But yet in that episode, she was like, oh, well, um, he couldn't give me what I want or something like that. I was like, what is wrong with you? I find her to be among the most irritating characters the second most irritating character on that show besides Leslie. Ron says, were you surprised when Jada was under oath giving statement and EJ questioned her? So she admitted that she also wanted him dead because she blamed him for messing up her relationship. No, Ron, I was not surprised. Like I was not surprised. I don't know why you thought I was surprised by that. It's a really odd question, but okay. Sparkbook says I have two things on how they can explain Britt's death. First, is Britt really get poisoned and had a cure in her pocket, or she never got hooked and she cut herself and pretended to get hooked? I mean, yeah. I think if they implemented any one of those ideas, somebody should be fired. I mean, that's a nice little theory. I'm just not there thinking like if GH actually wrote that, I would petition for somebody to get fired. I don't care who, but I will sit there and petition for somebody to get fired. I would literally get a whole goddamn campaign started on this channel and sit there and get somebody fired if they ever sat there and did some dumb goofy shit like that. Um, and I'm not about people losing their jobs, but Sean, I think they wouldn't do it if they know it's good for them. Island says Willow looked like the bride of Chucky say she was completely unhinged. Yeah, aka nervous breakdown. I mean mental breakdown. Is it nervous breakdown or is it mental breakdown? What's the difference between a nervous breakdown and a mental breakdown? I'm surprised he didn't add. That's something else. Like he made a very like demanding text, and all he sat there and said was, you got to sit there and cut this out. when he talked to Eva, he was like, listen, her sparring with you is one thing, but now it's messing with my business, and I've been saying that all week. So when she gets there, he just kind of like he didn't go hard on her at all. He was like, why can't you just let this go a little bit? And that was about it. I'm like, wait, what? Bro, you gassed my head up to sit there and think, okay, you want to drop the hammer on this chick. What's good, Jonathan? You want to drop the hammer on this chick. And then the minute that you get her there, like, what the? Yeah, no, me either, Jonathan. Me either. Um, Sparkler says, I think the cure in the pocket makes sense because Britt was a doctor and they were a cure for the poison hook, so that theory ain't that bad. I mean, it's lazy, bro. It's listen, Jonathan. I mean, Spy. I give you points for creativity. That shit is lazy as fuck. I mean, honestly, tell you the truth. At the end of the day, they can go with either one of those in reality, right? It's a soap opera, right? So it comes with a certain level of the thing is, why ultimately, even if it is a little lazy or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like it's a soap opera. As audience of that genre, we're kind of expected to sit there, even if they sat there and said that her Huntington's disease was a misdiagnosis. We're just kind of expected to just go with that. So, um, Island says mental breakdowns sometimes imply a broader range of mental health issues, including several conditions like psychosis, while nervous breakdowns is more associated with extreme stress. Okay, thank you, Ed. I mean, thank you, Island. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, that makes sense. Thank you. Well, it's not that, Jonathan. She got, like I said, I don't know if you saw the title, but she's having a mental breakdown. She's far from off the hook. It's not even that. Like, did you saw how she walked in that house and she did not care if she was going to frighten her children? And even that, even, yeah, Sean, I will sit there and see you tomorrow. Have a great night. So, like, it's not even so much about, like, her not being off the hook. She has far more other things to, you know what I'm saying? Ron says, why would you say Lee should not trust Sheila with Luna being alive? So you really think that she's going to turn around and call the authorities on both? No. It's just she's not somebody to be trusted. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, no, she's the wrong person that you want somebody who already grew up in a very messed up environment to sit there and have a mentor like Sheila. Like that alone is why you should sit there and trust um Sheila in a sense. Spy Craig says the Huntington's is definitely real. Why else is she needing herself for medication while she's trying to become a super soldier? The female cat. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just like I said, I did not think that those scenes was necessary. Um, she could have told us that when she eventually comes back. That's a good question, Ron. I don't know, but next time she comes in here, I'll make sure I ask about her whereabouts. Yes, have a good night, Sean. I don't know, Jonathan. I don't it's hard to have a worse opinion of someone if their opinions are so much on the floor that Cody could sit there and act like a schoolgirl. Which, by the way, again, he just annoyed the shit out of me. Island says nervous breakdowns also means to is commonly associated with a sudden inability to cope with daily life due to overwhelming stress, anxiety, or depression. Yeah, no, yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you. You just said Drew can still get Willow back. Yeah, that's true. Alicia, how are you doing tonight? Hope you're well. I'm gonna sit there and say this again because you're here, and I know that you are in the law profession, right? So I'm watching days, and you got Belle, and she's giving a strong opening argument. She's giving some really good stuff. Like she's really one second, Jonathan. She's giving some really strong stuff, right? To go at Johnny and EJ is basically sitting there saying like your argument is falling apart because if you want to sit there and talk about motive, well, hell, Roman had motive as well. Gabby had motive as well. He made an opening statement basically saying that nobody in the town likes him. And my whole thing is, Alicia, one of the things that really bothers me about the criminal justice system is that it doesn't necessarily come down to, evidence or anything like that. It just basically comes down to who can give the most convincing and compelling argument. And I'm like, that's insane. Because by all standards, Val don't have a case. So it just mind fucks me in a sense. You know? John Johnson says, what did you think of Doug, Joey? Doug done lost his goddamn mind. Doug, I don't know. I think that Doug needs an example. Vanessa was sitting there looking at Doug like, oh, hell no. Like, oh, hell no. Alicia says, okay, didn't catch day today, but motive is not an element. Yeah. J Blue says, sad but true, Albert, in regard. Yeah. And that's the part that just I don't know why it hit me so hard today, just how fucked the criminal justice system is. I think mostly a lot of times, Jay Blue, and not to get away from the soaps and stuff, but like whenever I sit there and think of harsher places, like or places that are just like, what is going on, like Bangkok, where you can get the death penalty, spend 8 years in jail or whatever for like a little bit of Mary Jane or whatever, which is insane. You know, Brittany Gardner got sentenced. She was going to get sentenced for a long time for a little CBC. I'm like, you people are nuts. And then I'm sitting there looking at today's episode. I'm like, and granted, we may not be as extreme as them, but the system is pretty tough. And like Dolomitic said, it's a lot of times this stuff comes down to the court of public opinion, and you're guilty before you're proven innocent. So like, I thought it's funny. I thought about like doing a review. Alicia said, not an element of a crime. Nice if you have it. Not necessary. You can't compare foreign laws to U.S. That's true. That's true. You're right. So like Kirk says, plus if you look at Brit's face, you see she looks miserable. She ain't looking happy with her life. She looks sick. Yeah. I yeah. He had to, because like the chick is literally like, you know what I'm saying, Jonathan? She again, Carly. First of all, I'm surprised Carly didn't body her. But Carly was like, "Yo, listen, look at your face. You have mascara run down your face." Like she practically turned her head, and Willow looked at herself and just said, "F it," right? And that showed me that, again, she cared more about what she wanted than what her kids needed. This isn't the first time that she did that shit. Jay Blue says, sadly, it's true. The justice system is also making money off. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. Ed says, Doug wants to be a caveman now. Where all this energy when you knew your wife was sleeping with the man in town the entire effing time? Very true. Ed, I'll tell you right now, if you ever sit there and decide to make a YouTube channel, you are going to kill it. And I will be a subscriber. He makes a hell of a good point. Like, seriously, Jonathan, he makes one hell of a good point. I mean, I already smoked the saying that that chick done lost her goddamn mind. It's just, like I said, effing glorious. Seriously, Ed. So, just saying, man. Just saying. Oh my goddamn. Yeah, no, I had to come on tonight. I had to do it. I had to sit there and talk about. I had to sit just so much, so much. I had to sit there and talk about. I mean, I'll be back on tomorrow, the usual time, full time. You know. Johnson says it's like that saying, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." Exactly, Jonathan. I said in my title, was like Jenna Hospital, like today's title of Jenna Hospital, should be consequences. But Alicia said Willow should have been able to see her kids from the beginning. Supervised, okay, but it's in the best interest of the children to have a relationship with both parents. Remember, Judge was bribed. That's true. That is true. That is true. I think you're like probably one of the very few people. I think it was you and somebody else in my comment section that said something along those lines for Willow. Jonathan, did you saw when what you call got loud? Michael got loud. Oh, by the way, I just want to sit there and say again. I don't know if you was there on Sunday, Jonathan, but JOJ Media wound up doing an interview with Rory Gibson. So I caught most of it after I got out of the theaters to go see Fantastic Four. Jay Blue says Drew heading over to the Quartermains. Oh, you were there. Okay, all right. Show me just how out of touch he is with Willow. I mean, yeah, but it also just shows you just how out of touch he is in general. Or we saw clips of it. Oh, yes, 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 yes. You're right. I think I might have been drinking that night. But those were some good clips, though. I still got those screenshots, so I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna sit there and look for them tomorrow. Um, Island says, okay, now Island says the ruling that the judge gave was spot on, though. Additionally, Michael should request that Willow see psychiatric before seeing the kids. Yes, Yeah, because I mean, like I said, the fact that she blew past Carly, looked in the mirror, and just said, "Eh, my makeup looks fine." Very true, Jay Blue. I agree. I agree. Oh wow, that's well, that's hella interesting. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I only caught like a little bit of that. I guess you must have watched it from the beginning. That's what's up. Oh, that'd be interesting, Jonathan. Autumn says Willow believed that scumbag over her own child. So no, I don't feel bad for her. She also was willing to let her boss be blackmailed into making Michael look like a drug addict. That says a lot about her. Yeah, I don't feel bad for her either. That's the truth of the matter. And you know, Autumn, you're 100% correct. Alicia said judge ruling would not happen in most states. Trust me, I do this for a living. Yeah, and Alicia knows her stuff, so yeah, that'd be cool though. That'd be cool. You know, she won one. I'm looking forward to the actual event, like when it actually happens. I swear, I feel like they need to get some new blood up in there now. As far as like the Emmys and stuff like that, people like interviewing people for the Emmys. It's like they always have like the same people, you know. Always have like the same people interviewing someone. It's like, god damn. Can I see some new people up in there? Oh wow, that's interesting. I know that she was on. She was also in that group with Katie and the acting coach. And he better. I mean, he wasn't getting nominated when he was on Young and Restless. That shit wasn't gonna happen. But like I said, he's killing it on GH, and Alicia says, "I felt sorry somewhat for Eva." It's hard, you know. I'm also liking the fact that you're watching that show. It's hard for me to sit there and feel sorry for her because it's like she knew that like Tomas was with Cat, and she knew that like my whole thing is like, is that somebody you really want to be with? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. He is practically messing around behind her back. What happens do you think when he's with you? He decides to dump Cat. You don't think he's gonna sit there and play you the same way he was sitting there playing her? I mean, she's sitting up there in the diner acting like she was the love of her life, and I'm like, and my other thing is like when somebody sits there and show you their ass, believe them. When he came across as all like distance and stuff like that, um when she walked in that room, he was like, "Hey, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything." It's like, you know what kind of man you right then and there. She probably was like, "Okay, end the chapter, whatever." Like she was done with it. But then you decide to sit there and make her take like 3 steps backwards and meeting them at the diner all happy and giddy. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little too logical sometimes. Cat is a waste of time. But Thomas did pull back. He's still sketchy though. And apparently he's also not good in bed. So, that there's that. Cassie says, I can't stand the character of Ashley. Don't want anybody else to have. Yeah, exactly. I can't stand that shit. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Yeah, I will sit there and say that she is definitely killing it as Gabby. Alicia says, "Is Cat who's not good in bed?" It could be. You know what? It could be. Never actually thought of it like that. Yeah, no, I answered that question in a sense. Johnson says, Albert, did you hear that there will be a crossover YNR and Beyond the Gates? Yes, I did. Actually, I saw it. Shout out to Black Mom because he sent me the clip. Like people were talking, we actually talked about it yesterday, and then I watched the clip on my phone because well, I don't trust CBS. Okay? The old stuff like I don't like cool, but like anything new. So I watched it. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hyped. I was genuinely kind of hyped. She's a doctor and stuff like that. She's probably working for the right people that has the right type of pockets. I imagine. I imagine. Um, I'm not sure. Black man actually sent it to me. I gotta ask him. Oh shit. Johnson says, I just realized Devon's last name is Hamilton. Could he have a possible relationship to Bill Hamilton? Hmm. Like Isaiah Gannon, right? I'm just like I said, I'm so surprised they decided. And it's funny too because yesterday people were sitting there saying like, "Oh, it's kind of early for them to be doing a crossover," but I'm like, really? They just have one character going over there. Here's the thing. I personally feel like there's not enough crossovers with Born and Beautiful and Young and Restless. When they do decide to do these little shitty crossovers, they'll have like they'll have like Lauren Finmore go over there, sit there and see Eric. No goddamn crossover. Alicia says, "Hey, did you hear about Marcus?" No, shit. And I'm kind of surprised 'cause I'm pretty sure like one of my feeds on Twitter or something like that would have talked about it. I gotta look that up. I gotta look that shit up. I hope he's doing okay. June was another person that was just annoying the shit out of me today. June was annoying me. Naomi was annoying me. And when the girl, Reggie or Regina, or whatever her name was, like, leave me alone. Don't contact me again. It's like Naomi didn't take no for an answer. She hung up the phone on her. And then when Naomi called back, she was like, "Hey, listen, don't contact me." And then you decide to drive over there to her place. So now point she is dead ass telling you, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Uncle from his mother's side. Yeah, that's a really good question, Jonathan. I mean, Jay Blue, I didn't talk about that in my review because I didn't really understand. Like, so she doesn't really get a lot of people visiting and stuff. I mean, that's true. That's true, Alicia. Obviously, she is an addict. Um, at first, when she kept into acting like she didn't know who she was, I thought like maybe she had like early signs of dementia or something like that. But like, and the thing is, I do find June to be pretty annoying, but I know that addiction is serious, and it's a disease. So it's like I don't want to sit there and get annoyed with her because that's what addiction is. But sometimes whenever she comes on, I'm just like, all right, here we go again. You know, so I'm always very torn on how to feel when June shows up. As says Lauren Best crossovers when she was battling Sheila in the '90s when they had beef crossovers with BNB. Well, yeah, once you said the '90s, right in and there, but um, I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like today. That's funny, Jonathan. I don't know if you were here yesterday. You might have been here yesterday. I think you were here yesterday. But this is when they say it was Samantha and Terrell. Um, that's what Jess said yesterday, and we shall see. Yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah. Oh, you were absolutely. I don't know why I thought. I don't know why I thought I talked to you yesterday. I don't know why I thought I talked to you yesterday. You're weird as shit. I don't know why I thought I talked to you yesterday, but okay. Yeah. Jess said the same thing, and I think somebody else in the chat also said the same thing. I think somebody in the chat said that. I mean, it's possible. I mean, yeah. At this point, it's like we're just kind of stuck with June. You know, it's like we're stuck with this version of Jack on General Hospital. It's not the one that we like. It's not the one that we wanted. We can literally sit there and ask for another recast, but that's so not going to happen. So, Alicia says addiction has a mental health component that needs to be addressed even more than the addiction. That's why the underlying mental health issues always need to be addressed as well. Yeah, you are 100% correct. All these little small water bottles. Alicia has spot on. Wasn't it too much trouble to recast Jack with another Australian actor? I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, see, that's the thing, though, right? Like, they actually, like, most of these shows and stuff like that, like, well, shows have a casting department. Like, they literally have, like, that's their job is to sit there and literally cast someone. So, like, not to, and I'm a dip in and I'm a dip right back out, right? A lot, sometimes when they will race swap a character or whatever, it's like people will sit there and say, well, listen, it's just the best actor for the job. And it's like, no, that is not the case. They have people that's their job is to sit there and find 20 versions of Iris and say, hey, this is what we're going to sit there and pick. I don't remember the chick's name, and I know that she's a good actress. We're not going to sit there and try to act like they couldn't sit there and find a Caucasian woman with red hair to sit there and play Iris. We're not going to sit there and act like that's not the case because that's literally their fucking job. Like, so yeah, just going back to that, it's like that's literally Jake's job. Like, that's a casting department. Oh, in department. Alicia said Joey acts like Ryan Chamberlain. Yeah, that's what people miss, though. That's what people miss. We're gonna be honest. I mean, they really felt like they should not have just gotten rid of Ryan Chamberlain, though, if we're going to be honest. Uh, hmm, that is interesting. Very, very interesting. But I don't know. They could have did that. They could sit there and find a recast for Jax if they wanted to. I mean, I wouldn't personally like it, even though Alicia said, and Doug let him punk out. Listen, Doug let him. Doug let Doug let him punk him. I mean, Doug is the definition of the biggest cuck that I've seen in any soap opera. I mean, like Vanessa said, Vanessa was like, "Yo, he knows that I be out on the towns and that they get busy with everybody." I don't say it, but he knows. So like, I just don't understand what he was in there doing. Like, he came in there, he was talking a bunch of shit. Apparently, he was drunk. Um, like, oh, I want to gamble, and Vanessa was like, I'm not trying to get back in more debt. Like, that's how we in this position in the first place. And I'm doing business with him, and he's laundering money because your dumbass decided to sit down here and start playing a bunch of cards and didn't tell me about your problems. And now see where we are. Um, and again, I know that addiction is a problem, but it's like Johnson says it can also have been an American actor who can do an Australian accent. That's true, Jonathan. The guy who played Bushmaster, it wasn't his real accent, but he was a really good actor. He was a really good actor. So again, that's that's the casting department's job. I mean, that's when they have a. Oh, Jonathan, do you watch Generation V? I guess I'm gonna have to sit there and get my Amazon subscription a little bit earlier. I don't know if you watch it, but what's good, Daniel? Yep, Bushmaster. Oh, that's his name. Yeah, it's coming out September. I forgot exactly when, but I know it's coming out September though. So I'm definitely gonna have to sit there and renew my Amazon subscription. Eagle says, "Hey, I'm so ready for Willow and Christina to become roommates at the Nut House. Put them in there with Heather Weber, except for the fact that Heather Weber is free. Heather Weber is free. But I mean, yeah, those two can go there now. I'm just tired of Christina Smith. They talk about how she wants to take accountability, but yet she doesn't do anything to take accountability. Her little daffy ass plan, and she really is psyched like that shit's gonna work. Like, oh, I'm gonna break them up and I'm gonna make them not trust each other. And then what happens when they both want their money from your mom? What are you gonna do then? What you're gonna be like? Oh, I thought that if they distrust each other, then they would sit there and stop asking Mom Duke's money. Like, no. Have a good night, Jay Blue. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate you coming through tonight. I know this was kind of last minute, and like I know a lot of people wasn't sure if I was actually going to stream. Hell, I wasn't sure if I was going to stream, but Alicia says, "I know Leslie is trash, but I love her. I love her for some reason. I can see the appeal for some reason. I can see the appeal. I mean, I don't have patience for her, but I see how some people actually do like her. You know, so I ain't mad at you. Not like I would be mad at anyone for liking a character I dislike, but she's entertaining to some people. That's true. As they are all essentially taking money from the baby. Um, yeah, they, but you know, like I said, back to Christina, I'm like, girl, if you want to sit there and stop this blackmailing thing, it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly happy with Alexis either. You keep sitting there condoning what your daughter does. You keep sitting there enabling her. You know, even Diane was like, you can't keep doing this shit. And all Alexis keeps saying, but I'm a mother though, you know, I'm a mother. And I'm like, okay. So breaks get cut and you just sit there and think, let's just sit there and steal money from a baby to sit there and, you know, pay off Ava and Rick so this way she doesn't have to sit there and suffer the consequences of her actions. In a way, Christina's right. If Cody was decent, yes, that's true. That yeah, and I did sit there and say that. I did sit there and say that. I'm not entirely letting him off the. I'm not exactly entirely letting him off the hook either. So Molly came in. She was kind of annoying. It was just like, "Hi, girl." It was like, "Hi, girl." Um, apparently now she's writing romance books. So they talk about TJ too. I think Alexa's like, you know, this is the first time we saw her smile since her breakup with TJ. I was like, are we just gonna sit there and act like TJ don't exist anymore? I'm done with Alexa. She needs to be a mother without a law license. It's like not that long, she slipped there already committing crimes. Like she didn't sit there and do all that work to be a lawyer. Her being a news person just never made sense. So I'm glad that they actually had her being a lawyer. Oh, and Santa Barbara, she was a lawyer. Actually, tell you the truth, Alicia, I don't know if you know you watched the show before Santa Barbara, but you know we're watching these old clips in the member circle, and honestly, tell you the truth, the way that Nancy plays Alexis is the same way that she played um, whatever her character is in Santa Barbara. Like literally right down to that sarcastic tone is kind of like bratty little thing that she does. Like, God damn, like, yo, this chick was playing Alexis before she went on General Hospital to play Alexis. Cassie says, and so the soap world is a very small community. It's not like back in the day when we had 25 soaps going on at once. Yes, and it's funny too. I think I might have said that in one of my reviews, right? Because even Tony's like, so Gwen, have you seen Steppen? But I think if we do get one, I have a feeling it's gonna be a recast. I would be surprised if they actually get back Brent. As said also Christina is the last person to say Cody is not good enough. I agree with you and your review about Christina's relationship history. Yeah. Um yeah, she's the last person beating at the throwing shade in anyone. I'm like, girl, you sat there and you cut somebody's brakes. Like, hmm. do you think it's do you think it's the writers? Or do you just think it's possible? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can see him being upset with the writers because this isn't the first time that they fired him and then brought him back, right? Like he came in, he played Steppen after Tyler played him, right? And they fired him. Then they brought him back. Then he fired him again. So I'm just like, is he upset with the writers or is he just upset with the show? Like, yo, I'm sick and tired of this show constantly yanking my chain. Hopefully, if it's down to the writers, that's possible. Alicia said, never watched Santa Barbara, but I don't understand how Alexis can be so comfortable committing criminal acts. Well, according to her, she's a mother. I don't know. I feel like that's how she justifies a lot of the stuff that she does, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I never watched Santa Barbara either, but I've seen a couple of clips of her and the way that she acts, the way her character is when she talks to people, how she could be condescending, um, a little annoying. Ranting. What's good, ranting? Let's everyone say what's up to ranting with Ricardo. I was in your stream for a little bit on Beyond the Gates. Johnson says he mentioned that the former writers screwed him over and outdid him against his will. He did mention that if they got different writers, we'd be open to returning. And now, oh, okay, all right, okay, well that's awesome. Okay, that's awesome, Jonathan. You know more than I did. Yes, let's everyone say what's up to ranting. Oh, Ronnie Ron is back. Hmm. All right, well then, yeah, that's right. Let's say what's up to ranting Ricardo. Yeah, I could have swore I might have been in your. Yes, well, I think it was probably sometime this week. I was. I know it was in. I have no idea, Ron, but I will make sure I ask her when she comes back. Just want to know if Naomi's storyline with June is going to go anywhere like a custody battle involving her kids because they keep finding ways to make June important. Yeah, exactly. They keep doing it, even though that like I feel like this June chick can be very annoying. Um, like Johnson said, the little kids grew up and became Tyrell and Samantha, right? Because if that's not the case, then what are we doing, right? Like it would make sense. It would make sense. They are that at that age when they're going to be sent there looking for colleges and stuff like that. So Johnson says Stefan is the only guy that really um, compatible for Gabby, and he would jump at the chance to reclaim the Mara Enterprise. Yep, that's true. And let's be honest, Jonathan. We all knew that JJ um, was not ready. Well, he was a poor substitute for stuff, and that wasn't fair to sit there and do to JJ's character. Right? I mean, there was a lot of things that was not fair to do to JJ's character, like make him a cop after he nearly unalived himself for what he did the deal, and then decide to make him a cop, and then the whole Gabby thing. It's like, do they even know what to do with JJ, or is he just going to be another casualty like Doug and a long list of other characters that they managed to mishandle? Lisa said, did you see that tiny couch where Thomas and Kat did? I didn't even know what it was called, and she didn't even have the decency to clean it off before Chelsea. That's actually very true, yes. I think I was just so, I think I'm thinking of it now, but like I think when the one up happening, I was so kind of caught off guard in a sense, like she really just forgave him. Like I'm surprised that she just let him off the hook like that after his half-ass explanation. So like when he got to that part, I totally was like, oh, it blew past me in a sense. But that's the thing, though, Jonathan. From what I understand is that when he shot Theo, JJ was already a cop when he fired at Theo. Yes, but when he fired at Theo, from what I understand, he got so he got so it bothered him so emotionally that he tried to unalive himself. So my whole thing is, and this is something that Dolmetic said. Why would you sit there and make him a cop again after because like after that, he almost unalived himself, but then he became an EMT, right? But that shook him so much to the core that it almost made him, yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened, and then he became a paramedic. Exactly. So you see what I'm sitting there saying, right, Jonathan? Like, why would you sit there and make him a cop again? You know, that's the part where what the fuck? I'm sorry. What did you just wait? What did you just say? Ron says, Albert, if Stefan comes back, do you want him with Ari? Do you want him with somebody who's barely 18? Is that what you just asked me? Wait. What's good, Darby? Did you just ask me if if Stefan came back, you want him to be with somebody who is barely 18? Broski, does somebody need to sit there and check your goddamn hard drive? Yes, what's good, Darby? I get it, Jonathan. Listen, I understand. Listen, there could be 100 different reasons why they did it. I'm just saying, like, well, yeah, that's true, Jonathan. But like, I understand there may be 100 different reasons why. I can just understand why that could be out of pocket. Okay, Ed says, hopefully they give JJ a better storyline because the actor can't act. I've seen his work in the past. Oh shit. Darby says, I just saw Fantastic Four. I liked it, but love Superman more. I'm glad that was right. Well, you are the Justice, so that makes sense. But okay, there you go. I mean, I like Fantastic Four. Um, I have my issues with. Like I said, I have my issues with Superman. I didn't think it was a terrible movie. It's just with James Gunn. Sometimes, most of the times, I would usually agree with more decisions that he makes than when he doesn't. Or I usually in most movies I would agree with most of the decisions that he makes than the stuff I don't agree with. Like in Superman, I was like, we we are far cry past not seeing eye to eye. But like Johnson says, you can't please everyone. Cassie says, how does Drew not remember her own damn kids? Well, you know what they say, cocaine is a hell of a drug. What kind of question is that? Alicia says, seems like Days will be pulling Sarah with Brady. Train wreck. Yeah, I don't know Brady's history. I just it seems like he's very unlucky in love. Now Darby says, okay, I enjoy your views with stuff. I don't have to share your views, but I respect them immensely. Yeah, exactly, Darby. And that's why I was sitting and I look at James Gunn and granted I'm not pulling any shade or hating on him or anything like that. Um, I always find it interesting. Like some people won't think that way though. Some people be like, listen, if you don't agree with what I agree with, or if this person doesn't agree with what I agree with, then they have problems. Like, and I'm grateful to people like you, Darby, and other people that may not always agree with my opinion. Because I don't need people to agree with all my opinions. I always feel like we could sit there and kind of just talk about them. Okay, Ron says, I don't, what kind of question is this? I've never seen somebody ask me a question like this. Not dark, brooding epics. I mean, I've seen a handful of movies he's done. Suicide Squad 2, Super, which was really good, and that twisted version of Superman. The twisted version of like the kid Superman. I don't remember what it's called, but it was like if Superman grew up evil. Which I fucking love that movie. Okay, let me read Ron's like bizarro comment. Ron says, Albert, if Gabby finds out that she's still legally married and Vivian is the one that forged his signature and also had him taken away, then what? Then what's next? Then what's next? I guess she'll sit there and try to rescue him. Yeah, I guess she'll sit there and try to rescue him and realize that the feelings are still there and that they probably never left. That's what I was sitting and say about that, Ron. Very odd question. But that's the best. That's like literally the best answer that I have for that. Police say cocaine doesn't cause memory lapse and miss necessarily. Seems like she may not. Seems like she may have been on. She may have been a crack user. Yes. So, or it could just be in denial. The easiest answer is that she may just be in denial. You know, like what kids? What kids are you talking about? Like maybe it was traumatic on how she became pregnant with those kids, right? And I guess, and I swear, if I'm right, I'm gonna brag like there's no tomorrow. Like maybe she didn't have those kids under the best circumstances, if you know what I mean. And maybe that's just her way of snitching, trying to process that trauma. Because like her sister says, she is an addict, right? But maybe she did sit there and try to walk away from her kids. It's like trying to walk away from a painful memory that caused those kids to be, exist in the first place. And maybe I'm thinking too deep about that, but like, you know, it's a biggie. But I think if the writers are smart, they might actually go that way. Alicia says it could be trauma AB rather than drugs. You could be right about that. I mean, they've dealt with heavy subjects before, like unaliving and stuff like that. Ron says yes. I mean, to say that what she's going to do because she's still legally married to Stephanie and Vivian, playing with her feelings by having him taken away. So, but then the question should really be, what is she going to do to Vivian, not what's next? I feel like that's such an open-ended question. Like, what is she going to do to Vivian? Is that what you're asking, Ron? When she finds out what Vivian did? Yes, it's called Brightburn. Thank you, Darby. They need to make a part two. They need to make. He needs to make a part two of that. Yeah, Alicia, and according to Jonathan, we may actually want up getting, you know, may want to get that version. Vivian is unlikable. Well, Gabby could be kind of obnoxious. Warrior hero Nina got a in with Willow because she knows about the Daisy situation. Oh, she. Hmm. But I mean, Willow's not gonna sit there and think that. Oh, um. Oh, I looked at an L. Unkillable. Okay. It looked like an L. Unlikable. Okay. Well, Willow knows that Nina's not gonna sit there and like turn her in or anything like that. The usual, Ron yelling and threatening her but not actually doing anything. Her usual Gabby Hernandez over the top stick. That's what she's gonna do. I mean, seriously, I'm being dead ass serious. Like, what else is she gonna do? What else do you think that she's going to do? What would you want her to do? I think that's my question, Ron. What do you want her to do? But, All right. I think I'm gonna head to bed now. Because this was a long day. I will be back tomorrow though during the normal time, which is 8 p.m. And we'll sit there and talk more about these soaps and everything like that. I had some pictures, but I'll probably sit there and show them tomorrow though. 'Cause I totally forgot about it until I just thought about it. But seriously, thank you so much for coming through, people. I know I gave like little to like no warning in a sense, even though I felt like I did, but I'll be back tomorrow. So have a night, Darby. Have a night, Warrior. Have a night, Ed. Have a night, Alicia. Thank you, Darby. Yes, hit that like button. It was good to see you, Alicia. Seriously, thank you for joining. Johnson says, join us next time for another edition of Soap Chat with Dr. Bostic. Good night, everyone. Hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button. Continue to share if you are sharing, and make sure that you become a member. We are having a lot of fun. I have some plans this weekend, so definitely come through. Have a night, Ronnie Ron. Have a night, Jonathan Darby. Thank, excuse me. Thank you again, Darby. Anybody else? You know who you. Everybody else know who you are. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Laters.